All right, before we get into today's video, I want to make sure that you saw our last video. All right, in our last video, I talked about why positive affirmations don't work. Right now, if you missed that, please go watch that. Like, hit the pause button here, go watch that video. That is going to give you a lot of context before you watch this, because today I'm just going to show you a simple exercise. If you're a parent watching this or you're a coach watching this, if you're a parent, your child can do this, your athlete can do this. If you're a coach, your whole team can do this, right? This has been something that's been huge for athletes that I've worked with over the past decade. And I know this helps and I know it works, right? So let's get straight into it. All right, now I've broken this into a simple 4-step process, all right? Anyone can do this. If they do these 4 steps, it's very simple. Step 1, this requires a pen, all right? That's number 1. Step 2, we need a note card, all right? So if you don't know what a note card is, go Google it, all right? I don't have one with me right now, all right? So number 1, pen. Number 2, note card. Number 3, this does not work unless the phone is completely off, right? So the phone has to be off until this exercise is finished, all right? That is number 3. So if this becomes a distraction during this exercise, it's not gonna work and it's never going to work, all right? And if you watch my last video, I talked about the 1%ers and what everybody else does. So, if you don't do step 3, this is not going to work, all right? And number 4, all right, this is where we start the exercise. So pen, note card, phone off, let's start the exercise. So here's what it is. We're going to write down, I call this the 5 I am statements. And this is something anybody can do. It requires time. It requires thought. It requires not being distracted, all right? And I'm going to try to give you a really good example of this so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's say I'm working with an athlete who is they're not aggressive. Let's say they are shy. They don't like to communicate with their teammates. Let's say they don't get the ball a lot, right? They're not assertive. They're very passive. Or let's say, I'm working with an athlete who doesn't play good in their games. And they're playing great in practice. They're relaxed in practice. They try all sorts of things in practice, but when they get in the games, they just lock up, and it's like they have these mental blocks, right? So the 5 I am statements, all right, that I'm about to show you here will help these types of athletes, all right, and even athletes who are really, really, really good still do this. Even the ones that are the best player on the team, all right. Often the ones who are the best on the team are the ones who do this the most consistent, all right? So here's what it is. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you write I am 5 times, all right, on the front of the note card, all right? So we write that 5 times down, I am, and then there's these blanks, all right? And this is where it has to be customized towards the athlete. I can't just sit here and say what your athlete should write. I'm not them. I'm not in their brain, right? But what I teach players to do is we end up writing the 5 most powerful things that they can read before they go to practice, before they get in the car going to the game, before a game at a tournament. So this way it's fresh in their mind and it's something that they have. It's not on their phone. It's a tangible thing. Like, they have this in their bag at all times. They have this in their wallet. And to give you a clear example, all right, if someone's not aggressive, someone doesn't communicate, the 5 I am statements get them to not only believe that they can be good at that, but they're looking at that and they're concentrating on this before they get to their game, before they get to their practice. So it could be, I am a great communicator. I am going to be loud. I am going to be the most aggressive player on the field today. like these sort of things, all right, when athletes can read these, all right, it gets them to think differently about themselves. It's not another coach telling them that, hey, you need to be more aggressive today, all right? It's not their parents telling them. It's their own words, which is very different. This is why I said in the last video, players who can't sit alone in their own thoughts, all right, athletes who can't do that, they'll never really think for themselves. They'll never really take any sort of accountability or any responsibility. So this is an exercise that only they can do by themselves. That cannot work when I just sit down with a athlete and say, yeah, you're really good at this, or you're really good at this. If I'm telling them, it doesn't matter. They have to be able to sit alone and go through the exercise. So these could be the 5 most negative things about themselves, but they flip that and they turn it positive, right? And the way that this works is very simple. Before, all right, and this is a very specific way of doing this, all right? This way it becomes a routine, all right? Before every single game, all right, if your athlete has a schedule, which every athlete has a schedule, they know when their games are. 10 minutes before they get into the car and leave for the game, all right, they should spend 5 to 7 minutes staring at their note card in total silence and imagining, you know what, I can be good at this. I am good at this. I can be patient in the game. I can have good body language. I can be a good communicator. Like, these are things, it takes like 5-7 minutes. Just sit there, complete silence, no phone, no distractions, and start to think that way before they get to their warm-up, before they get to their game. And on the back of the note card, right, this is something that is, again, very simple, all right? On the back of the note card, it just has what their goals are for the season. And that is what I call the I will statements, all right? And that is, I will do this 5 times, boom, 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 same thing. So we have the 5 I am and the 5 I will, all right? Now, here's the cool part about this. A lot of kids that I've worked with over the past, and I'll give you an example. There's a player that is a senior right now in high school. I've been doing this with her since she was 12 years old. 12. Every single game, all right? She has been looking at her I am and her I will statements. She has gone through so many different note cards, and she's kept all those note cards. And those note cards have evolved over time because she's not struggling with the same things now as she was when she was 12 years old, right? But it was her doing. It was her writing it down, not me just telling her. I told her about the exercise. She had to fill in the blanks, right? Now, the consistency of that is unheard of. I mean, how many 12-year-olds do you know that can consistently do that? Probably don't know any. For that, especially for that amount of time. It's a long time. I don't know. Most adults can't do something like that, right? So this is why, I talked about in the last video why positive affirmations don't work. It's because no one wants to just do the hard work. All right, do the hard work, and this does work if it's done the correct way. All right, and if players take the self-responsibility. All right, what I'm talking about in this video is going to be a big piece to what we have in our mentorship program that we're launching soon. And the reason is because I know it works very, very well. And there are so many just different ways to track progress throughout the year that I've done personally with athletes that I've worked with. So I'm excited to talk more about that in the future when we come out with our new program. And if you're a parent watching this or you're a coach watching this and you want to connect with me, all right, it's very simple. All you have to do, all right, is right there. You'll see my phone number. All right, showed up on my forehead. Shoot me a text anytime you want at 210-960-5771. My only ask is that if you text me on the weekend, I don't respond. I will always text back during the work week. All right. that is it for today's video. I hope this was helpful. And the only way this is going to work is if an athlete can actually execute what we're talking about. All right, that's it. See you later.